Hi and welcome to our channel. The Constitutional Court has passed a new law that men can now take their wives' surnames, meaning we can now have a class full of a weird combination of names such as Okochiniwach Zulu, Oyonkochinik Mlaba, Adonkochi Waches Kelet, Ajawichif Makais, Adikina Swanson, Sivasiso Williamson, Okochiniwach Roberts, and Kosi Hilton, Oyonkochinimes Salibi. Let's watch the video containing more details on this case, and I'll be back with the rest of my commentary.
Husbands can now take their wives' surnames if they so wish. That's according to a Constitutional Court ruling made on Thursday. Until this week, the law only allowed women to take their husbands' surnames, but not the other way around. The judges say this law came from colonial times and was unfair because it discriminated against men and reinforced only old gender stereotypes. Two couples challenged the rule, saying it was outdated and against the country's constitution, which protects equality. Now, let's explore what this ruling means, not only for gender equality and legal reform, but also for cultural identity in this country. To help us do exactly that, I'm joined by cultural expert Professor Musakulu and traditional leader Sekgote Mokgwatsana. But before then, let us listen to just an excerpt from that ruling as it was being delivered.
In the case of men, they are deprived of the ability to assume their wife's surname if they so wish. In the case of women, the effects of the scheme are far more insidious. It is not merely so that they are deprived of the right to have their surnames serve as the family surname where their husbands wish to take that surname. It also reinforces patriarchal gender norms which prescribe how women may express their identity, and it makes this expression relational to their husband as a governmental and cultural default.
So that was Justice Teron of the Constitutional Court delivering that judgment a couple of days ago. Naturally, there's been wide-ranging debate across the country. Part of it has been rooted in traditions and culture. That's why we're having this conversation this afternoon. Let me start with you, Tate Mokgwatsana. Your reaction to this ruling, what are its implications culturally?
Good afternoon, listeners. Good afternoon to everybody. The ruling is it's a shame. It's a shame. It's an assault on African culture and practices, because never in the past have we had wishes of men expressing their desire to get married to their wives' surnames, or to be able to use wives' surnames. You remember, we are a patrilineal society. It's not a shame that we are a patrilineal society. We are aware, we accept the rights of women, we accept the issues of equality, but when it comes to marriage and conduct and social behavior in terms of marriage customs, we inherit the names of our fathers, and that's how also inheritance goes through, the succession goes through from father to son. Therefore, when we marry our wives, it is expected that they will take our surnames, and the children also take our surnames. If in the event of divorce, our wives want to choose to retain our surnames, we have no problem. But it is a problem that a man chooses to become somebody else, changes an identity that is common, because our common identity is the identity of your forefathers. Therefore, when you change it to become the identity of your wife, it means you are now belong to a different family. And how do you respond to your own ancestors? Because here, our ancestors are also, we're dealing with ancestors from our father's line. Now, the ruling in itself, as I say, it's an assault on African culture. It's really embarrassing. It's a court of law. It's a judgment that has been made. But I think it's going to sow the seeds of discontent amongst African people.
Yeah.
Yes, I know there are people who are fighting for feminine rights. They may applaud it that it is equality, but the question of the name, a name has no equality. A
All right.
name is inherited.
Let me
You inherit the
yeah.
name of your forefathers.
Let me get the views of Professor Musakulu. Prof, you've also had the opportunity and occasion to consider that judgment out of the Constitutional Court. Just your overall thinking about it. What are its implications?
Well, it's a good judgment. You know, the issue is that the Constitutional Court always looks at the Constitution when it takes decisions. And there's a provision in the Bill of Rights that says 9.3 that says that there can be no discrimination on the basis of gender and on the basis of marriage status and all other issues that are raised there. There was a legislation which prohibited males from assuming the surnames of their wives. Then, of course, that is, the Constitutional Court did not invent this. There are couples that went there to court to dispute that legislation, to say it was discriminated against and limited the choices of the males that wanted to assume the surnames of their spouses, of their wives. Now, we must always remember that South Africa is a multicultural country. There are people who want to do this, and the Constitution have to enable them to do it because the Constitution cannot be prohibitive. So the Constitutional Court took that into account. You must always remember that in a multicultural country, there are various cultures that some of them we may not agree with, but there are people that are practicing those cultures, and we have to respect that. And I think the Constitutional Court took that into account. It's done in many other countries of the world, other cultures of the world, in Finland, in Japan, in West Africa. And of course, you also have the issues with the Mojaji and all of those kind of places. Where, for example, even among the Zulus, if you marry a Zulu woman from the Zulu royal family, your children become princes and they use the praise surnames of the Zulu royal family. So it's not something that is strange. You remember that Mtwana wa Pindangene, for example, would address himself as Makeba and Abezita, and his children have inherited that simply because his mother came from the Zulu royal family.
Yeah.
So it's not very remote. And the Constitutional Court has to create situations where people cannot be prohibited from expressing their choices in public or in private.
In a country with high levels of identity theft, we hope severe scrutiny will go into this whole process, also checking why partners would want to take this route. To prevent scammers from taking advantage of people's freedom to choose the surname they would like to grow and adapt into. Do share what you think about this new law between husbands and wives. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and leave your comments down below. Not forgetting to also click into our link video where DA and EFF start their attempts at protecting foreign nationals against Operation Dudula. Thanks for watching.